Hello folks, well today I'm at a campsite rather than a wild camp. So the function of this video is to do a test of this tent here, which I've been using, which is my Vango Torridon 200. It's to show you how to pitch it and give you a little review of my thoughts on it. My name's John and I make videos for my YouTube channel, The Camping Astronomer, on camping, astronomy and walking. If you enjoy this video, then please check my channel out, as you might find others that interest you there. But in the meantime, let's crack on with today's video. So the tent comes in one of Vango's current design of bags, which is a kind of side entry system. It's really easy to get into, and more importantly, it's easy to pack the tent up, particularly when it's wet at the end of the day. And in the bag, you get a set of poles and a set of pegs. You get exactly the right number of pegs here, but I usually have a spare set of pegs just in case, and then the body of the tent itself. So one of the main features of this tent is it's really easy to put up, but it's got quite a quirky pole arrangement that I've not come across before. There's a main crossbeam for the tent, and the other two poles are actually fixed to the tent with a sort of hinged joint, and it's getting your head round this, which is the key to being able to put it up. And there's two of those. These essentially hold the roof and the door up on either side of the tent. But the key is to lay the tent out flat and identify the location points for the end of the pole. This one has a yellow marker on it, and this end of the pole has a yellow prong, and the other end of the pole has a blue marker. And you basically look for the tent locator here with a blue marker on it. So you put the cross beam, the main cross beam, into these two holes here. So we now fix together the crossing pole here, and you'll see this has a short side and a long side. The short side has a little grey marker, and that basically goes in a connection above the door, and the long side has a black marker which goes on the base of the tent. And I think in this case I need to swivel this arm round to get it the right way round. And that's the thing you have to get your head round, this swivel joint here. We've located the ground end into the relevant hole on the tent, and we just need to put the upper door support in its position. And you can see there how that fits in, and this ultimately will stand up like this. And we repeat the exercise with the other pole. And these clips, they're really easy to put on. Even when you're doing it one-handed like me. So that's the bulk of the job done now. All we've got to do is peg the tent out. It's a freestanding structure, so you can lift it and move it however you want. But I'm just going to peg the tent out now. So apart from putting out the guy lines, which I might or might not do today, that's essentially it. The inner is already clipped into the outer, so that doesn't need any putting up. So in the end I did put the guy lines out, but this tent, honestly, it's the easiest tent I've ever put up in my life, mostly due to this exoskeleton. Makes it so easy to pitch, even on your own. This is a two-man tent, I can do it easily on my own. But the key to it is getting the hang of these little hinge joints here. But I've found that provided you put the yellow end of the pole in the yellow hole of the tent and the blue end in the blue hole, it basically all kind of falls together. But yeah, I'm certainly very impressed with it. So here's the interior of the tent then, and as you can see, it's quite spacious, although it would be because it's a two-person tent. I think this probably would be quite comfortable for a two-person tent, but it's a palace for one person to be in. My only criticism of the tent really is that there's no little loops for hanging your lanterns on or lights on. I tend to use the little loops on the door zip ties there, just to hang a small lantern from. I guess the only other criticism of the tent would be its weight. It's something like 3.2 kilos, which is quite a lot, although I suppose it is a four-season two-person tent. But I'm kind of quite happy to pay that price at the moment in order to get all this lovely space. The walls are fairly vertical, so headroom above you is quite high. I'm 5'9", and basically I've got loads of room above me. Length is also very good. There's some ventilation points highish up on either end of the tent, and the door's got like a mesh thing that opens up to allow ventilation. It's relatively small, but I think you've got it on both sides, plus the high up vents, so hopefully condensation wouldn't be too much of a problem. So a little bit of a walk round some of the external features of the tent. The poles appear to be significantly thicker than those that you get on a standard sort of 2/3 season tent, so hopefully it will stand up to its 4-season tagging. The guy lines are also considerably thicker than I've got on my other tents, and seem to be capable of holding the tension quite well. There's 2 external vents which hopefully will help condensation in the winter. I haven't really had any problems using it over the summer period. Got 2 large porches, and the doors on the porches are able to be done up and down from the top or the bottom, which is handy if you're forced into cooking in a closed porch. You can at least open the top to let some of the steam out. A little bit of a closer look at one of these hinged joints. I'm hoping that's not a weak point and that you know, it doesn't fail, but it certainly hasn't up to now. And it's the this exoskeleton here that makes this tent probably the easiest tent that I've ever put up. Not having to thread poles through sleeves and things is such a joy. Bit of a nice campsite. I'm on my own virtually. So final thoughts on this tent then. Well, I really like it. I think that's probably quite plain. It's got lots of space inside. Fantastic if you're on your own. It will be big enough for 2 people to stay there quite comfortably. I've used it in heavy rain and it hasn't leaked, so that's always a plus. Yet to use it in heavy winds, but that will come over the winter. The tent fundamentally is a 4-season tent. Can't really find any reviews of it online, let alone people who've actually tried to camp high up in the winter with it. I'd probably hesitate at that. Maybe 500 meters or so in a reasonably sheltered site I'd probably do. It's a semi-geodesic design, so it should be capable of coping with reasonably high winds. The only downsides to it really are its weight at about 3.2 odd kilograms, so it's fairly heavy. And I'd quite like to have a little hanging loop for a light of some sort inside. But other than that, for 150 to 200 pounds, which is what it costs nowadays, I can't really fault it. So yeah, so if you're considering the tent, I hope you found this video a little bit of help. Thanks very much. Cheerio. Well, I hope you found that video enjoyable. If you did, it would be great if you could press the like button and maybe make some comments about what you did or didn't like in the comments section below. If you did enjoy it though, maybe have a look at the other videos on my channel, as you may find something of interest to you there. And if so, it would be absolutely fantastic if you could subscribe. That would really help me out. But in the meantime, I wish you well and cheerio until next time.